Hello, bonjour, welcome to my channel. I'm glad you are here. What is your favorite drink? My favorite is carbonated water. To be honest, my favorite is champagne. But since I cannot have it any time of the day, I put it as my second favorite. So yes, I'm a champagnophile. You know, champagne is a sparkling wine produced exclusively in the Champagne region of France, following specific rules and methods. Sparkling wine from anywhere else, including other regions of France, cannot be called champagne. Have you wondered where Champagne is and what it looks like? Or maybe are you planning to visit this wine region? Because of my love for champagne, I love to visit Champagne as often as possible. I went back to Champagne last fall. Today, please come with me to have a tour of the Cave de Champagne of the famous champagne house Veuve Clicquot and see a champagne house stay at the guest house of Ployez-Jacquemart. Let's go! Allons-y! Veuve Clicquot Ponsardin is a champagne house founded in 1772 and based in Reims, Champagne, France. It is one of the world's largest champagne houses. Madame Clicquot is credited for the champagne house's major breakthrough. The champagne business of Veuve Clicquot was founded by Madame Clicquot's future father-in-law, Philippe Clicquot, in 1772. When Barbe Nicole Ponsardin married François Clicquot in 1798, she was 21 years old. Madame Clicquot's husband François Clicquot became his father's partner right after his wedding. François Clicquot greatly expanded the company and put the business on a successful track. Unfortunately, he fell ill and died in October 1805 at the age of 30, when Madame Clicquot was 27. The young widow, Veuve in French, decided to take over her husband's business, becoming one of the first businesswomen in France in the early 19th century. On the 21st of July 1810, Madame Clicquot launched her own company, Veuve Clicquot Ponsardin. And the rest is history. The capital of Champagne, Reims, is located 140 kilometers northeast of Paris. You can easily drive or take a TGV train from Paris for a day trip. We booked a tour at 2 p.m., but we arrived a couple of hours earlier to have lunch at Café Clicquot. We order and share a bottle of millésime, which means vintage champagne, charcuterie and cheese board with a bowl of French fries. There are a few different tour options, and the prices vary from 36 euros to 255 euros per person. You can compare and choose a tour that suits your preference. The main difference between the tours is the level and number of champagne you do the tasting of. We booked a tour of Brut Yellow Label, Bordeaux style. Our guide comes to the waiting room to introduce herself and brings us to the cellars. A champagne house's cellars or crière is a cool, damp, and dark underground network carved into chalk. The cellar provides the ideal conditions for aging champagne, keeping bottles protected from light and temperature fluctuations, resulting in a long and consistent aging process. Champagne hillsides, houses, and cellars. The name given to several sites in the Champagne region of France was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2015 for their historical ties to the production and sale of champagne. In Veuve Clicquot's Cave de Champagne, we see a vast underground network of tunnels and cellars carved into chalk rock. These spaces house millions of bottles of Veuve Clicquot champagne arranged on racks and shelves. The guide explains how champagne is made using the méthode traditionnelle, or the traditional champagne production method. There are multiple steps from harvesting: primary fermentation, then blending, second fermentation in the bottle, aging, riddling, disgorgement, dosage, and corking. She also describes the different types of champagne Veuve Clicquot produces. There is Veuve Clicquot's signature yellow label, then there is rosé. A millésime is a vintage champagne, which means that the champagne is made exclusively with the grapes harvested in a specific year. Contrast to still wine, the norm of champagne is non-vintage, which is blends of wines from multiple vintages. Millésime champagne is typically only produced in particularly good years, when the harvest is considered exceptional. A prestige cuvée of a champagne house, Grand Dame et Veuve Clicquot, is a top-tier champagne representing the pinnacle of a champagne house's production. It's typically made from the finest grapes, often from specific vineyards or exceptional vintages, and is characterized by its complexity, balance, and long aging potential. Madame Clicquot created the first known vintage champagne in 1810. In 1818, she invented the first known blended rosé champagne by blending still red and white wines, a process still used by the majority of champagne producers. She also invented a riddling rack, called a pupitre in French, so that the ladies get settled in the neck of the bottle and disgorged. That's how champagne became bubbly clear without sediments. You now understand why her nickname was La Grande Dame de Champagne, and it became the name of the prestige cuvée of Veuve Clicquot, Grande Dame. We learned the know-how behind Veuve Clicquot's Spirit Yellow Label champagne, blended from a collection of reserve wines. Then the visit is followed by a tasting of this signature champagne. It is different from the 2015 millésime that we had at our lunch before the tour. It has a different character, but it is very good. When asked about the quality of our wines, Madame Clicquot answered, "We have only one quality, the finest." This remains the company's motto, only one quality, the finest. On the way out of the cellars, we go up the famous escalier millésime. Millésime stairs for French. Each year when a millésime was produced is marked on a stair. It is a very nice tour, even though it is our third time visiting Veuve Clicquot. This time, we want to try something different. So we are staying at a guest house of the champagne house Ployez-Jacquemart in Louvre de Champagne. Ployez-Jacquemart is a champagne house founded in 1930. They operate a guest house at the Jacquemart Villa, where the founder couple lived from 1947 for many years. The villa has 5 themed bedrooms. Our room is La Crépuscule, a spacious bedroom overlooking the estate's garden and vineyard beyond the garden. The vineyard is entering a winter dormancy phase after the harvest. There is a very comfortable sitting lounge for guests with a TV, tea coffee making facilities, and champagne glasses. And chilled champagne is available for consumption in the fridge. You have choices of different lines of Ployez-Jacquemart champagne. I write down my name and the bottle I take on the takeout sheet. I'm expected to pay for all my consumption when I check out. We drink champagne in the lounge. It's pleasant and peaceful. As it is a type of bed and breakfast is included. Breakfast is served in the lounge dining room of the main floor of the villa. There is a variety of food: bread, pastries, fruit, yogurt, cold cuts, cheese, boiled eggs, and juice. And hot beverages are brought to the table. One evening, we strolled through the village and stopped by a cozy bar restaurant where the town people hang out. And it is really nice. Jacquemart Villa is a hidden gem in Louis de Champagne. If you are planning to stay overnight in Champagne, I recommend this bed and breakfast operated by the champagne house Ployez-Jacquemart. I hope I gave you some useful information and ideas about what to expect when you plan to have a champagne house tour and where to stay in Champagne. If you have enjoyed it, please do give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you again next week. Please subscribe if you want to see more of my weekly videos. Thanks so much for watching.